Last time on Shadow Piece, the battle between the two monsters continued. With every single attack, Burgess kept growing stronger and taller, but the damage was still building up for him. However, on the Sin of Pride Hyrule, the damage was much more visible. His strength, his endurance, and even his battle techniques had often led to people calling him a monster, but even he had recognized who was the real monster in this confrontation. But even if it was an uphill battle, the giant from Elbaf would not give up. And with careful observation, he managed to spot a weakness in the strength growth of his opponent. With a powerful and precise attack, he shattered the bones in the champion's left arm, leaving it hanging lifelessly. And for the first time in their battle, Jesus Burgess fell to one knee. Hyrule stood over him, chest heaving, fists trembling. Blood dripped from both of them onto the shattered ground. The giant warrior of Elbaf raised his broken knuckles again, ready to strike immediately after. The battlefield no longer resembled Hachinosu. What had once been streets, buildings, and stone pathways was now a vast broken basin of destruction. Layer upon layer of shattered earth pressed downward by repeated impacts too violent for the island to endure. Smoke drifted low across the ground, mixing with dust and steam rising from cracks that glowed faintly with subterranean heat. At the center of it all stood two giants, one natural and one unnatural. Hyrule breathed heavily, blood running freely from countless wounds across his massive body. His body was ruined, his muscles trembling from exhaustion and internal damage that no amount of willpower could fully suppress anymore. Across from him, Jesus Burgess knelt on one knee. One arm hung uselessly at his side, twisted, shattered, ruined, and yet he was smiling. The laugh came out hoarse, broken by pain and blood. So you finally broke something. Burgess slowly rose. As he did, the strong fruit responded. Muscle surged violently through his body, swelling around the broken arm, stabilizing it grotesquely. Bone grinding as flesh forced it back into a shape barely functional. His size increased again, surpassing even his previous growth, his frame now rivaling Hyrule's in sheer mass. The price was obvious. Blood poured from ruptured skin, veins bulged dangerously, his body was tearing itself apart to continue. Hyrule clenched his fists. "You're destroying yourself," he said, voice low but firm. "This is not strength." Burgess spat blood onto the ground. "Strength?" he snarled. "Is whatever keeps you standing the longest." He stomped forward. Each step shook the crater. Hyrule met him halfway. The collision was brutal, no finesse anymore, no hesitation. Burgess slammed his intact arm into Hyrule's chest, cracking ribs with a wet, crushing sound. Hyrule answered with a hammer fist that smashed into Burgess's face, snapping his head sideways and sending teeth flying. They traded blows like titans at the end of the world. Each strike landed clean, each impact echoed across the ruined island. Hyrule drove his knee into Burgess's stomach, lifting the massive pirate off the ground. Burgess responded by grabbing Hyrule's head with both hands and slamming it downward, smashing his skull into the earth hard enough to open a new fissure. Blood sprayed. Still, Hyrule rose, and still, Burgess laughed. "You just don't stop," Burgess roared. "That's why this is so fun." Hyrule's vision blurred. Every breath burned. "My body is failing," he realized calmly, but his stance remained firm. "My strength," he said, forcing his voice steady, "was never meant for fun." He lunged. This time, he didn't go for raw damage. He aimed precisely one more time. A crushing blow to Burgess' broken arm, forcing it to shatter further. A strike to the throat, a palm thrust into the chest that sent shockwaves rippling through Burgess' torso. Burgess staggered back, coughing violently. His laugh finally stopped. For a moment, there was only the sound of his labored breathing. Then his body expanded again, even more violently than before. Muscle tore and reformed. Skin split and healed again. His silhouette grew broader, heavier, more monstrous, no longer resembling a man, but a walking embodiment of unchecked power. "You're right," Burgess said quietly. His voice dropped. "I am destroying myself." He raised both fists. "But as long as I can still swing." He vanished. The impact came before Hyrule could even react. A full force punch slammed into Hyrule's abdomen, lifting the giant warrior clean off the ground. The force traveled through his body like an explosion, shattering internal organs, rupturing blood vessels, and launching him across the crater. Pyro crashed hard, tried to rise, his legs buckled. Burgess was already there. Another punch, then another. Each blow cratered the ground beneath Pyro, driving him deeper and then deeper into the shattered earth. Bones broke audibly now, arms, ribs, spine, each impact accompanied by the sickening sound of flesh giving way. Still, Pyro reached up. His massive hand grabbed Burgess's wrist mid-swing. Blood streamed from his mouth. "You," he rasped, forcing his eyes open, "will never understand what it means to protect something you love." Burgess froze. Pyro pulled himself upright, slowly, painfully, meeting Burgess's gaze one last time. Strength exists so others don't have to suffer like this. With everything he had left, Pyro drove his forehead into Burgess's face. The impact staggered Burgess backwards. Pyro followed with one final punch. It landed squarely against Burgess's chest. The blow cracked ribs, ruptured organs, and sent Burgess skidding backwards across the crater, carving a trench behind him. Pyro stood there, barely. His body swayed, his vision darkened. He smiled faintly. "Bronya, I hope you managed to reach them. Gerd, please take care of all of them. Goldberg, make sure all of you eat healthy. Rod, you can be a powerful warrior. Please just stop being such a perv. Danson, you always knew better than me. Sorry for being so difficult. Tyr, you're now the most powerful warrior in the new Giant Warrior Pirates. Please protect my family. And finally, Loki, I'm sorry I couldn't be a better older brother, but you have finally returned to see the truth. I know you will make a great leader for Elbaf in the future." Burgess rose slowly, listening to the words Hyrene was whispering intently. Blood poured from his mouth, his nose, his eyes. His body was shaking violently now, strength tearing through him uncontrollably. Even the champion knew he shouldn't laugh in a situation like that. "It didn't fall in the end." He clenched his fists. "And you are still young for a giant." Burgess charged forward. "It would have been fun to see what your prime could have been." Hyrene raised his arms, but his body finally betrayed him. The punch tore through him, not figuratively, literally. Burgess's fist smashed through Hyrene's chest, bursting out his back in a spray of blood and shattered bone. The force lifted Hyrene off the ground as Burgess continued forward, driving the blow through with unstoppable momentum. Time seemed to slow. Hyrene looked down at the fist protruding from his chest, then up at Burgess. "You will never be the strongest," he murmured. His eyes dimmed. Burgess ripped his arm free. Hyrene's body remained standing. Silence followed. Jesus Burgess stood alone amid the ruins, bloodied, broken, barely standing himself. He looked down at the proud warrior he had just defeated, now being bigger than him. He laughed weakly, then he staggered away. The son of pride of the Fleet of Death, the captain of the new Giant Warrior Pirates, the older brother of Prince Loki, born as Thor, the powerful giant with ancient giant blood, died as Hyrene, the brave warrior of Elbaf. And this is the end of today's episode of Shadow Piece. I hope you enjoyed it, because this is an emotional one. We lost another sim. This time, Hyrene. He managed to win his first fight during this war against Loki, and he wanted to make sure that he didn't just leave this war. He wanted to help the Dark Messiah, he wanted to help the Fleet of Death, and with that, he even managed to save a life. He managed to save Bronya. But in return, as everything needs an equal return, he gave up his own, because he was not capable of defeating the strongest man alive, the champion, Jesus Burgess. Who will be able to take down this monster now that he has grown even taller than a giant? Well, that's for you to find out in the future. But for now, that's all from me for today. All that to be said is rest in peace, Hyrene. See you next week. Bye.